United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody for coming tonight. You can roll on your schedule for our adjusted schedule, or adjusted time. First item on the agenda is the approval of the December 5th meeting minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and second to go ahead and approve the minutes as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Approval of year-end bills. List of bills not only in your packets but on your desk. Anybody have any questions on the bills?
I'll move to approve the bills. Second that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Otis,
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Britt.
Aye. Bills are paid. Approval of the agenda. Any additions to the agenda? Yep. I would like to add LEC, property deeds, and JPA, just to make sure that we have everybody's on the same page before we get together as the LEC tomorrow. Under unfinished business, if we could.
Motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion, do we have a second to approve the agenda as amended? We have a second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve the agenda approved. Kevin?
Oh, Steve.
Hmm?
Steve.
Right, another agenda. Steve,
Yes,
go ahead.
all right. I guess I'm looking to have our contract with our website provider post approved, I guess. Originally, it was approved with 5% annual increase, but this year they came back with everything else going on with an 18% increase. And I guess I got them to put that off for a year because it wasn't budgeted for and everything. But still, I guess this would be, the increase would come, I guess we got the original 5% increase for this year, but the 18% got put off till next year.
So the 5% is for 2024,
Correct.
and then the 18% starts in
Or, yeah,
2025.
it'll be something like that. And, yeah, I guess.
And that's the Civics Plus contract, right?
Correct.
So when I see this annual recurring service year 2, at 4632, that'd be for 2 years then?
That would be the cost next December. Plus probably 5% going forward beyond that.
So we're probably looking at the 4632 plus another 5% the following year, or what?
Yeah.
We don't really have much choice, do we? What else is out there?
There's, yeah, I mean, options, but it's probably all similar,
Right.
where at least not for, no option for the next year, basically.
Right.
If you, yeah. Things can be looked at if you want. Next year, explore options. It doesn't lock us into,
It just kind of stinks that they were telling us 5% and then all of a sudden they hit us with an 18% thing. There's really no guarantee, right? Like, there's no guarantee that we do this 18% and then next year they come back and do 20%
right,
when they say they're only gonna do 5. I mean, to me, that's not good business on their part, but I think we're probably stuck this year and maybe have to explore. You know, if they're gonna hit us up for that. What do you guys think? I mean,
Yeah,
that's a big jump, 18%.
doesn't hurt to shop, but I don't see any short-term.
I don't either, I just,
So,
I mean, we're kind of stuck for this year.
you looking for a motion to go with this?
yeah, I guess, to approve the contract and pay the bill for the next year.
I would make that motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the contract with Civics Plus for website hosting. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
We gotta do a roll call here.
We paying something tonight? Or we just approving the contract?
Yeah, to get this out of this year's budget. It was,
So you want it approved to pay?
yeah,
Is this on the list of extra bills?
Did Jackie get it on the bills?
I
No?
just, not like, probably not a balance.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So we still good then, Candy, or?
Contract and pay. Okay, we can just do, yeah, we'll just make the motion to sign the contract and pay that's okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Want a roll call?
Okay. Otis,
Aye.
Gessner,
Yeah,
Volk,
Aye.
Wilhelmie,
Aye.
Britt.
Aye. Contracts approved. Anything else, Steve?
Nope.
Okay. Now are you up, Kevin?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, first, we have some invoices from the DOT for our share of the construction on that new bridge or new box culvert they put on Ramsey 4. We've had 2 more invoices come in since I made up my agenda, so. 2 of the invoices were for construction work and 1 was for the inspection that KLJ did. But it's all run through the DOT, so we end up paying the DOT for our share. And that total is now $123,453.60. I have that in my budget, so I just need a motion to go ahead and pay the DOT.
I just move to do that.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and pay DOT for the construction costs on the box culvert replacements on Ramsey 4. Is that correct, Kevin?
Perfect.
All right. $123,453.60. Roll call, please.
Volk.
Aye.
Wilhelmie,
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Otis,
Aye.
Britt.
Aye. Motion carries.
You have anything you want to add on that, Paul?
Thanks for all the work this year. That's right.
They're small, so.
They take it in your life. Not there for you.
Okay, then the only other thing I have is the results of the bid opening that we had. I think I sent out a spreadsheet for you guys to look at. If it's all right, we'll start with the trailer. Our trailer has never been DOT'd, that's why the bidders didn't give us much for it, or no trade. So I think maybe we'd probably be better off to try and sell that ourselves, try to get more money for it. I mean, it's in good shape and everything, but in order for them to go through it in DOT, it would cost, well, I have no idea what it would cost, but it was cheap. So I guess we're probably looking at just buying that trailer outright. And when you look at the bids, RDO was like $645 cheaper than Butler.
When did you send the spreadsheet out?
I didn't see anything.
What do you guys don't have it? I can make copies of this.
I'll go, I'll go quick,
Yeah, we got everything
I'll just
else.
quick go put it on there.
We opened bids on Friday, so I sent it to Candy on Friday. I probably just missed the.
So you're looking for a low boy trailer, that's what this one's all about?
Yep, that's what.
Okay.
Both a lowboy trailer and a snowblower for our new skid steer. So we took a bid,
Two separate,
two separate bids.
okay.
Mind it?
Yeah, we just got added.
There.
So it's the bottom group of numbers then. Delivery date on both bidders is approximately, it's exactly the same. So not much difference there. Warranty is a little longer on, or a little 5-year warranty on the frame on the Towmaster. Both bidders are here if you got any questions.
Looks like they're about 10 months out, 11 months out.
Yeah. Which ours is fine, so we can get by. That's not an issue. This is our old boy has a pony pump or a hydraulic pump motor on it, and one we're bidding on we got a semi tractor with a wet kit now, so we don't need a hydraulic motor. It's just a lot nicer to use those wet kits, so we're just switching that over. That's why our trailer would be good for someone.
So this is,
without a wet
both of
kit.
these trailers are hydraulic lift.
One has its own motor and one will have the hydraulics from the semi tractor. Oh, both the new ones do.
Yeah, both of these hook up to the wet kit. The old one has the mower.
Yeah, there you go, that's, yeah.
Looks like they're both very close.
They are very close.
Kevin, I see on here it's only the 1 year full warranty. You know that, the 5 year frame and the 3 year paint, is that a concern? The other Kevin, I guess.
Oh, sorry.
Ours is prorated after 1 year, so we do go out to 5 years, but it's not 100%. It's prorated after the first year. First year is 100%, and then after that it goes into a certain percentage.
So it's not that there's not warranty, it's just.
It's not 100% standard.
So these tilt better or they drop?
You take that front piece off and then there's little tiny ramps.
Yep.
Really small ramps. Fold down.
You have preference? I mean, it's so close, but we,
Well, it's always nice to get local, but RDO is somewhat local.
But not technical.
Right.
Oh, we have a technician in town, so.
Parts and services is the big thing. No matter what we're buying, any piece of equipment, parts and service.
The wishes of the commission.
Dale, the one that's still out there?
Yep.
I've used both Tollmaster and Trail King, outdoors piece.
The Trail King has, only difference I can see, looking at pictures, has a bit of an arch on where the fifth wheel plate hooks on. You know, when we're out in the country, turning around on approaches, that might, where the Tollmaster is straight, I don't know if that'd even come into play, but I do know turning on things around on approaches are a bugger, because they're so low to the ground.
That's why I asked if it was hydraulic, because we got one of each, a hydraulic and a manual. And the hydraulic is way better.
And you got different locking settings.
Right, you can lock it in 2 or 3.
You know, so you can lock it higher at different heights, and then it's gonna be both trailers.
Yeah, both trailers come with that box down here. So what do we have now? Is it either one of these?
It's a low,
No, it's a low, but
Low king.
low key.
which, you know, as far as we know, the lights and brakes and arrows, everything works, it's just never been DOT, so. You know, they would have to go clear through it, that's why they don't wanna give us much for the street. From one end to the other, DOT it. That's why I'm saying we.
Are we gonna have to DOT it to sell it?
Well, not for farmer, or, probably not, let's put it that,
As is.
yeah. And we'll just sell it that way, tell them it's not DOT. I was hoping it'd be worth $155, I guess.
Got a recommendation or a motion that we'd like to make?
I'm not gonna lie, I do like the idea of the 5-year full warranty and a 3-year paint. And I'm not trying to pick on Trail King or anything, because I know they're a good trailer, but it's nice to keep it as new as possible with not having to pay the other pocket, you know?
No, it's also a low bid, so I'll make a motion, we go with the RDO equipment for the last year.
I'll second that.
And that we don't trade ours on that.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
just have our, outright, so.
A motion and a second to go ahead and accept the bid from RDO for the Towmaster trailer with no trade-in. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, and then the other thing was the snow blower that fits on our new John Deere skid steer. All 4 of these snow blowers are good blowers, so real good blowers, there's no question. I spec'd a back drag, so what that means is they can pull up to a building or a door on a shed or something, and tilt it forward and drag the snow back, rather than, bump it in there or anything. And the Erskine was the only one that didn't have the back drag. And they said that in their bid. Another thing with like Leading Edge, their bid was, it won't be here until March 20th, which will be the end of the winter. So I don't know how much benefit we get out of it this year.
Do you currently have no blower for the skid steer?
We have 2 skid steers, we have a snow blower for the other skid steer.
So, I do have a question on this. All of these snow blowers match the pump on the skid steer.
Yeah. In the spec, it
I
says,
ran into this issue myself, and it's a disaster.
if it was spec that way, it had to fit on that unit hydraulically and electrically both.
So that would be a disaster.
Yeah, I've been there.
Is it a must that you need this back drag?
Yes, it does. The Erskine is the only one that did not. Other 3 did.
That muskox it's about $1,000 more, but that's sitting on our lot right now, so that'll be something that we can deliver for this winter. It's a pretty good brand that's come out in the last couple of years, so.
In the bid specs, did you put in a delivery date?
No, I just told them they had to give me a delivery date.
So that was $1,300 to take a chance that
So if it doesn't have the back drag spec, can you even accept that or not?
Well, it doesn't meet spec, so you can throw it out because it doesn't meet spec.
I'm just, because if it doesn't meet that, are we putting ourselves in, maybe this is a lawyer question. Do we put ourselves in a bind if we were to take that one with not being the spec?
So when they made the bid, was that portion of the spec just omitted, or was that not on the bid
I
sheet?
can't hear.
The spec for the back drag was in the, right, so they're all the same.
All the same. It was spec to have that back drag, yes.
Does one bid have it and the other not?
3 did and 1 did not, yes.
That's why I was asking, the question. You probably could get in a little trouble there, but it wouldn't be the end of the world per se.
So if I may speak to the board, it does say in the specs, if we don't meet specs, we're supposed to note on a second page and give a reason why we would be accepted into the specs. And we noted that the manufacturer does not offer that back drag and that we do cover all the parts and service for that snow blower. And we asked that we be accepted for those reasons.
And I would say that qualifies, then it just comes down.
And I'm just asking, because I just wanna make sure that
We don't make a decision here and then we're get ourselves in line.
Understandable.
And you're 100% sure these all fit on your skid steer without modifications?
They will, or not buy it. They will, or not buy it.
And the only one that's on hand right now is the Moscow.
Oh, that top one is 2 or 3 weeks out.
Well, that Erskine's in.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, that is in stock.
In
Okay,
stock.
sorry.
Yeah, we got it sitting in Butler.
Now muskox, it is a 90-inch
Yes,
versus 84.
Yeah, I think I expected like an 80.
Yo. They make that size, I figured it'd be nice for a little more snow to move.
That was the width on our tracks, is why I used 80.
Are you willing to live without the back drag, or no? Is your current one, do we have a back drag on the one you have?
No. That's usually only offered on the bigger ones. All 4 of these are the heavy duty augers, heavy duty fan blowers. We plan to use this one on intersections where the snow builds up. Ice, packed snow, and so it's gonna be, it's some tough use. And all 4 of them are the stronger models, better built models.
I'll make a motion to go with the leading edge equipment, 15,200.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to go with leading edge equipment's bid for 15,200 for their blower for the skid steer. Further discussion?
So what do we do with that delivery date? Winter's over.
I don't think they're gonna change it, so we'll have to live with it again.
So our, right now we have a blower?
Yeah.
We can get by with the blower we have, or until we get this?
Well, they got it for the intersection, because it's got tires, doesn't have tracks.
So the one we're getting with the tractor,
Yeah,
could that suffice?
possibly, it's got tires. Or these tracks, they stay up on top of the snow. But the tires, of course, are wider, bigger.
You were thinking to get through in case we get that snow.
Yeah.
I think that's what his question was. Will we be able to get by until March?
Possibly, I don't know, that's a good question, to be honest.
What brand snowblower is that again that you have right now?
Erskine.
Erskine, and that'll have the 7-pin for the Bobcat hookup, so you wouldn't be able to use it on the John Deere?
It's all wired different. Not a lot of completely new wiring harness, which are $300, so. we'd be better off trying to make that new tractor work. No, it wouldn't cover the tracks either. It'd be narrower than the
Just
tracks.
We're willing to take a chance, I guess.
The one you have now is narrower than the John Deere.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion on the table for leading edge equipment, the John Deere blower, $15,200. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion approved.
That's all I have, unless you guys have something.
No, you guys taking a vacation yet, or, last year you put in significant amount of overtime by this time.
We're catching up on the odd work. We're
Yeah,
finally getting our bathrooms finished in our shop, so we've been out there for 3 years.
had a notification pop up that a year ago, we had that 22 inches, that 3-day blizzard or whatever, and so we can knock on wood and all that kind of good stuff, and thank the Lord for not having to deal with that this winter, so.
Right. We'll take it.
Yeah. Anything else for Kevin? Hearing none. Thank you. Thank you and you guys for what they do.
Thanks everybody else too for coming out.
Yeah, thank you guys for that much bit.
Unfinished business, we move into floodplain administration, FEMA letter, FEMA discussion. Had that meeting last Tuesday it was, with FEMA representatives from Denver and Department of Water Resource, the flood insurance administrator down at the state. A lot of the townships were present, but not all of them. And I think in our packets, we have a list of approved resolutions. Is that what this? So way back in September, October, we had sent out resolutions asking townships if they would want to do their own floodplain administration or have Ramsey County oversee that floodplain administration. These are the ones that we've gotten back, the ones in the yellow, I believe it is. Chris, have you seen this?
Just over your shoulder, I just had a moment to look at it, yeah.
Okay. So the ones that have revoked, is that the ones that are doing their own? Or,
I don't know how that was set up on here.
okay,
I just took it off the words
Okay.
of the document.
okay.
One is transferring and one is revoked.
Transferring will be transferring to us,
And revoked is
doing their own.
So what do we do with the ones that haven't gotten back to us?
Keep pressing them.
That's $1 million question.
Yeah.
Keep asking them.
Otherwise, I would assume that it would probably go back to that 1990, that we have most of the townships, if not all of them. I think that was in a packet here a month or so ago.
That one was more specific to the zoning and planning.
And that
side
was
of it.
more specific to zoning planning. So,
I would like, if it's possible, I'd love to have another meeting with the townships and the commission as well. and maybe sit down again, see if they're willing to sign on. And I spoke with our state's attorney and maybe draft up a third letter that's another option. So,
Because I think some of them that said revoke, they have that concern over giving up too much authority.
correct.
And so what we were just asking was clarification on floodplain administration. And so Mr. Sletton, do you have anything you'd like to add? You were at the meeting, weren't you?
Yeah, so do we have three options here? One, to let the county do it, or township maintain control, or the third option is that the townships could just say, we don't feel that we need the flood insurance and that, with our situation, our township, there doesn't look to be any potential for flooding of any the premises that are around, and so that, and as I was overhearing some of the conversation at that meeting, the guy from, it was either him or state, that you don't have to join if you don't feel that there's a need.
Right, and the way it looks, it's voluntary, but I think there's part of Century Code that says somebody has to be responsible for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Sledden, I'm Bo Cummings. I'm the state's attorney. If a county, if a township elects not to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program, then by default it reverts to the county.
Okay.
And the county manages it. I'm the one that drafted the two different versions of the letters or declarations that were provided to the townships. It was at no point was it considered that the township would be giving up building and zoning authority. It's just floodplain management. Like Mr. Jagger said, several township officers asked about the specific use of the word zoning in there, and that was a red flag for them. So we may have to redraft something, a third option saying, you keep your building and zoning, you give us your floodplain management.
So then there isn't three options, there's two options, it's either the township or the county's going to do it.
Correct.
There isn't that third option, is what you're saying.
Correct. The third option, if you can call it that, is just identifying that the township is keeping building and zoning and forfeiting floodplain management.
Okay.
Which a majority, if not all of the townships have already returned some sort of document to the county regarding building and zoning authority. And those range from the late 80s to the early 2000s, depending on the township involved. But we can clean up the language.
Both Commissioner Gessner and Wilhelmy were at the meeting. Any takeaways from it?
Nothing I should say publicly. Well, I think this is just the steps that we have to take. I think as far as, I'd hate to see the township do nothing. I guess I'd like to see you say, yes, we want to keep it, or yes, we relinquish it to the county just to make it official, so there's no gray area in the future, you know. That way, if something ever does change, maybe the rules change. That way, at least the county is administering the floodplain, because FEMA can change their mind, you know. yesterday for today, you know, they can go back in time, the way it seems. So that would be my recommendation is, you know, even if you don't think you're ever gonna need it, at least officially give it to the county so so we don't have to go back and do this again. As far as making a third choice, at least that way we got the same type of document and they all come to 2023, 2024. So we don't have to go back and, you know,
There's about 20 years worth of,
we've got one set of documents that's all current and there's no confusion about what they want or what they don't want. I think that's an important.
I would agree with you, and maybe a better way to describe it is, option one is we're giving everything to the county. Option two is we're keeping building and zoning and just giving floodplain management. And that way, there's no question about that. And then I guess option three would be we're keeping everything, including our management of the floodplain and our building and zoning. It's worth noting though that I don't believe we have a building and zoning. We don't have any county laws on that. We do have a building and zoning board that I believe both of you sit on, Commissioner Gesner and Commissioner Wilhelmy, but I think
Well, that's somewhere else we're working on,
Yeah.
so, I mean, it's.
yep, that's a different thing altogether, but it's just worth noting.
That makes sense to you, right?
Yep. Clarifies it in my mind.
Clear as mud.
No, I think that's clear. The state century code indicates that, I guess
There's really no way around it.
That'd be just a formality, but then everybody's on the same work. We got,
So they can't come
the
back.
ducks aren't in a row, but they're at least in a little spot.
Well, they can't come back and say, well, they never agreed to this.
so is the next thing then, do we have some floodplain anything on? Because that's my understanding, is you have to have a plan, correct?
Well, if we take a look at that Model C ordinance from 2000 that was adopted, it kind of spells out all the rules and regulations, whether or not we need to make that determination that we're gonna be the ones doing it. And Chris's office is the one responsible for it. That's what has been designated in the past. Whether or not we want to make any changes to that. We may need to find a few more hours in the day for Mr. Jagger. Not sure if that's possible. But it's part of both federal and state regulations that a community.
Yeah, I just was just wondering, because what my takeaway was, there has to be a plan. So what is that plan, and does it need updating, or what actions do we need to take to make sure the ducks are in a row?
Well, for me right now, it's, we take care of the ones that have turned something back in. Whether we need, I mean, if they like the new option or, you know, the new wording better, that we can always take that up. I think the other thing that we need to do is take our ordinance C, compare it to what they currently have as their option D, and I don't know if they had a C before or it's 20 years ago, and make sure that those are, either we adopt D or we change C to make sure it's compatible to what their current regulations are.
Right.
And I kind of agree with, Chris, that, again, my belief is you can't do any, I mean, your option is yes or no, not to do nothing, which is probably an English teacher in high school nuts, but, I think we need to sit down with all these townships, even if they turn something in and
rehash it out.
Just, to me, if you just stand back and say we're trying to update our documentation to make sure we're following FEMA's guidelines, that's the way they need to look at it. It's not,
We're not trying to take anything.
we're not trying, we're just trying to get a defined who we're responsible for and who we're not responsible for, so we can move forward.
And to partially answer Commissioner Mulhelmey's, there's guidelines you have to follow, like, we currently follow, like, the NFIP guidelines. So there is guidelines that are currently in place.
Okay.
So.
Could I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
The criteria for being a flood event, what did he say? A 1 foot of water over the main floor? Do you remember?
So if you had 2 acres inundated
2 acres inundated, yeah.
or
Two properties.
Two
two properties had a foot of water on, right?
Foot of water on it, yeah, or it could go over the road.
Yep.
If
If it comes overland,
and one to the road,
yeah. So the way I understood it, the road would be a township or county property. And then if it went onto your property, you would be the second property. And it was one or the other, you didn't have to meet both. Is that right?
and
Go ahead, yeah, sorry.
groundwater didn't count. I mean, if the water seeped into your basement, groundwater, that was not considered a flood
No,
event.
it has to run overland.
Overland, yeah. So you think about a 1 foot flood over a lot of these building sites. A lot of these building sites were built on a little bit of an old, where typically hard to envision a situation where you get a 1 foot flood. Now, if I were out in the Penn area or in Churches Ferry, yes, I think so. A lot of the other townships, as you go north, where there might be 10, 15 structures in a township, guys could probably go along and just easily check to see if there's any of those that would be potential flooding. I think a lot of townships, you can just say, yeah, there's very low risk or no risk that they would meet that criteria. It'll be, yeah, I think it'd be a good idea to have another meeting with Chris and just hash this thing over again with the township. Strongly in favor of that.
Maybe that's something we can try to organize after the first of the year and hopefully get better turnout. Because we'd really like to disseminate the information out to everybody. And if we could do that all at once, that'd be
the way to do it.
way to do it, yeah. So,
I suggested to send it to every township board member
yeah,
instead of just
the supervisor,
send it to everyone.
we can certainly do that. And whether or not we wanna make, any changes, we could either do it at that meeting or we could do it ahead of time. If people really have strong feelings about that word zoning, we could remove that, I guess, but,
Well, I think if the goal is to make this as clear as we can, I guess that,
you know,
I mean, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, clearly is
Because
good.
I mean, Cooley Township has been in this situation a couple times where as a layman reads, what was signed, there was no differentiation between floodplain and it just said zoning. So that's what they operate like, and I think it's get that on the table and have a meeting after the first of the year. Because this is the first step, we gotta get this.
Well, and I think
Get there.
yeah, and I think it shows that we're making an effort to comply with what their rules and regulations are. And that one of the things that they want us to do, so, we'll continue moving down that path. We'll get something set up right. Well, appreciate you coming in tonight. Chris, did you have anything else you wanted to add? No? Great. We'll continue moving forward then, unless anybody else has anything on that. Okay. Do we want to motion to go ahead and have these signed, these resolutions that have been returned? I think they have a call for a signature from board chairman and auditor, or is it just auditor?
No, chairman and auditor.
Okay.
Sorry, you just jumped that far because you got that on the new business. We'll just go ahead and do that now, right?
Oh. Yeah, we could do that.
I'll make a motion that we approve the
Resolutions.
the two forms of resolutions to the counties, or to the townships that have returned the documentation.
Okay.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to go ahead and have the chairman and auditor sign the resolutions that have been returned from the townships that have taken those steps to return them. Further discussion?
If we meet with them again now, and with the new wording, might they change their mind?
Absolutely, that's fine.
Yeah.
They
We're
could.
still okay with these intact?
It's possible, we can approach them again and say, hey, we've refined the form, if you change your mind, please sign it and we'll consider this new signing to be effective. If you don't do anything, the one you signed will stay in place.
This way we've got something, just in case it gets drug out, God forbid.
And I think that's one of the concerns that the townships had is if we go ahead and sign this, can we change our minds at some point? Absolutely.
And I think it'd be important too that when we send out this invitation, explain that if you do nothing, it's gonna come back to us. And we just want you to sign something so we understand that.
Yep.
Maybe that would help clarify, alleviate some of their concerns. Because I don't see this as you just do nothing. It has to be.
Somebody has to do something.
Somebody has to make the decision, and not making a decision is actually making the decision.
Right. But it's better to have that signed piece of paper filed. Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We'll work together with Bo and Candy and Chris and see when in January works for everybody and what time of day and all that kind of good stuff, so. Thank you again. So the next item on the agenda is the additional item of the law enforcement center. The transfer of the properties, the deeds that we had discussed, and the joint powers agreement that we had previously discussed and approved as well. Just wanted to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because we want to get that cleared and off the board. The LEC board meets tomorrow morning, and I know their attorney, Mr. Swanson, will be joining, or is scheduled to join that meeting. So hopefully the he said, she said kind of debate of who has approved what gets resolved. So, anybody have any questions? Do we need to go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and reiterate our?
So it was my understanding that we'd already signed off on the approval of the deeds, and that we had drafted and circulated a copy of the JPA that we had approved for everybody else to consider. For Howard's sake, if we just wanna reiterate that, hey, we're on board, we're ready to go, that way there's no question tomorrow. I don't know if we've actually physically signed the deeds and returned them to him yet. If we haven't, that's something that we need to do, but I know we've voted on it and approved them. Same with the JPA. I don't know that we physically like wet signed it, but we have approved it from Ramsey County's perspective. Is that consistent with what all of you remember?
Yeah. That was the Christmas-like version that you had drafted up on the JPA for us.
Yep.
And all the properties that were identified in the deeds that Mr. Swanson worked through, we approved on going ahead and signing those over as well.
We've been, what, 2 months ago almost?
Yeah, almost.
Maybe even 3.
Well, I know the JPA was about 3 months ago. The deeds were just last month. But we need to make sure that we're all on the same page for tomorrow, so. I guess
As far as I'm concerned,
we've
done it. We're already on board, ready to go. I don't know if you need a motion.
Anybody have any discrepancies? No? Okay.
Okay, and now you can say that we discussed it in meeting and we're ready to go.
Okay, perfect. That's all I had for unfinished business. Moving on to the new business, the 2024 beer license. I believe everybody had copies of those in our packets.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the beer license for 2024.
Where's the chicken flag at?
And that's the Speedway. Racetrack.
Oh, that's the Ramsey.
And everybody's on good with the requirements needed.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is everybody on here? I don't know that I see handed.
No, because their city is corporated, so we don't do.
Oh.
Stark Brothers not on there. Their city board takes care of that.
Did you get a second?
I don't think so.
I'll second.
Okay. Moved and seconded that we go ahead and approve the 2024 beer licenses for the establishments listed. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approved leases. Several leases in the packets for the school board, the park board, use of the memorial building. I think there's one for my office across the hall for the joint board.
Yes.
The veteran services agreement with the other counties. And the VSO hasn't changed as far as percentages.
I guess I got one question, Jeff, on yours.
Yep.
I'm not sure how the process works with the joint board paying the county, then we pay you. Why does the joint board not just pay you?
What do you mean?
Wasn't there in the writing
Oh,
someplace?
for the PERS. Something that's been done for, I don't know however many years. Run through the county's payroll. County does our payroll for us, does all the North Dakota PERS filings to the state. We just give them a check to do so.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the lease as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the leases as presented. Further discussion, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Homestead credit.
I have a question on this homestead credit. Are we using the new form?
Coming up the first of the year, I think there is a new
What do you
form.
mean?
There's a new form out. Let me see. Yeah, I think you're right, Jeff. Just so you're aware, I can't find it. I hadn't looked it up. It's similar but different.
I think every homeowner in the state should be eligible, I think, is for a $500 tax credit.
No, that's
This is different.
That's different.
This is disability.
This is homestead credit, that's primary residence.
Disabled veteran.
And this one is,
Well, he did what?
He qualified.
Yeah.
I move the approval.
Second.
moved in second to go ahead and approve the homestead credit application. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'll make a note and find that new one.
I could send it to you too. I have it. I just.
Letters of transfer. This is a big one. So a request to transfer $830,561.73 from the general fund to the law enforcement center fund. The price of crime isn't cheap.
Move to authorize transfer of funds. Second.
Motion and a second to go ahead and approve the authorization of the transfer of funds. Any further discussion? If not, is that just a vote or you want a roll call?
No, just, that's
Okay,
fine.
all in
Yep.
favor signify by saying aye.
Alright.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Jody Johnson, Edmore School Dissolution Committee. Is that what that says?
She is,
She's a consultant that's gonna work on that.
she pretty much will be doing a majority of
I can provide some information.
legwork.
We went up to Edmore for an open meeting that they had with members of the public about dissolution of the school district. We have been working with Jody. She came with us to that meeting. I had a chance to talk to her about how other counties go about the process and what they do, if they hire her as a contractor or, some other arrangement. She said typically what happens is they appoint her as the county superintendent of public instruction for the specific purpose of dissolving that school district, and that she would track her time and submit invoices to the county that way instead of having to go through and contracting and do the whole bit. Then when dissolution is done, her appointment basically evaporates. It's over and done. We don't have to do any, paperwork offboarding her, basically. I think that's the cleanest and easiest way to do it. She's the subject matter expert. She knows this stuff inside and out. And I think Lisa DeSeth was also on board with that way of doing it. For those of you who don't know, she's from up in that neck of the woods, and she thought it would just be cleaner if Jody handled it. That way there's no questions about, Lisa, why are you doing this? Sort of stuff. So that's the nutshell.
Just need a motion.
I think
I'll
so.
make that motion that we.
Second.
Motion is second to go ahead and appoint Jody Johnson to the Edmore School Dissolution Committee. Further discussion?
Just to clarify, she would be appointed as the superintendent for the purpose of dissolving that school district,
Appointed superintendent for the purpose of dissolving that
Edmore School District.
Edmore School District. Gotcha.
And I think we're pretty close to getting a plan together for what it's worth.
What year are they dissolving?
Next year.
This is, yeah, this is their last year. Yeah, you still have most now.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
The lady is very knowledgeable.
She's so good at what she does. It's spooky.
There's an item that was missed on the agenda to add. Can we amend our amended agenda?
Sure, just go back to the beginning.
Okay. We gotta start from scratch.
You got 'em? Yeah, we'll hear from Kevin again. And I'm just kidding. Yeah, if you guys go back and do a motion to amend, that'd be fine.
Okay. So the one thing that was in our packets, but wasn't on the agenda, was the approval of the water board appointment. We had an individual interested in filling Mr. Christensen's position that will expire at the end of the year. So if we could add the water board appointment on the agenda.
So,
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and add the water board appointment on to the amended agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. So with that, we have a application or a letter of interest from Mr. Randy Shimonek interested in serving on the Ramsey County Water Resource District Board. He is thus far, the only nomination that we've received or they've received. That's it.
Motion to appoint Randy Schindler to the Ramsey County Water Resource Board, District Board.
Okay,
Second on
we have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve Randy Schindler's appointment to the Ramsey County Water Resource District Board of Directors. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Sheriff, you have anything for us tonight?
Not today.
Not tonight? Appreciate you being here. So you guys just stay safe out there. All right. Anybody else have anything for the good of the order? Reminder, the offices will be closed on Friday in observance for the Christmas holidays. And want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and thank our staff for everything they do.
Jeff, I have one thing, just so everybody knows, Zinc versus Lake Region District Health, that appeal was dismissed.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows.
Nice.
Here we are on the street.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, meeting adjourned.